that requires not Trump saying I can fix it in 60 days or what did he say,
Right.
overnight between Russia and Ukraine, or
Right.
fix Gaza. It requires staffing, experts, technical expertise, and patience to negotiate.
Christiani's got one guy. Witkoff must be a Platinum Miles member right now. He's got one guy. Marco Rubio is doing 5 different, he's like the Secretary of State, the NSA. I think he's the ombudsman. He's the parliamentarian now for the Senate. Like, they are understaffed. They dosed themselves out of having any ability to carry out the complexity of the tasks that they need to be carried out. And so these are all shortcuts. And it seems like the easiest thing to subvert in the world is peace. It seems like, as Ben talked earlier, and Ben, I want to ask you this because it's hardliners can easily, if we remember in Iraq, Hans Blix had gone in and they were going to be inspecting all the sites that had supposed weapons of mass destruction. And we had a process in place that would have avoided the chaos and carnage of those 20 years in Iraq, in Afghanistan, all those places. And it was easily subverted. Ben, how fragile are these moves towards a more stable, peaceful world when hardliners are involved in the room?
The problem is our politics in this country is so messed up on national security that it was much harder to get the Iran deal through Congress than it was to take this country to war in Iraq.
Why is that, Ben, when you say it's harder to get that peace deal through than war? What is messed up about it?
Well, first of all, peace, we could have a long conversation about all the actors that influence American politics, but I would just say peace is inherently messy, right? Like the Iran nuclear deal, sure, like it didn't remove the entire Iranian nuclear program. So it's easy to kind of shoot at a target of like, you know, this is a compromise. This is a deal between adversaries. You make peace with your adversaries. You know, these are bad people. Why are you even talking to these people? Well, you know, because you make peace with the bad guys. You know,
it's sort of how it works, right?
It's not hard to make a deal with the UK. Like even Trump could do that. Whereas a war, you kind of promise that it's going to look good and we're going to take out these bad guys. And actually, it usually looks good at the beginning of the war, right?
Right.
You know, at the beginning, it's like, oh, look at the Israelis are killing all these guys, and wow, the Mossad had drones in Tehran. Isn't that cool? But to your point, the coup in 1953 looked pretty good. You know, it was like, wow, we got our guy back in there. And now that Iranian oil and gas is flowing, there's no concern about them being on the wrong side of the Cold War, you know? 1979, it didn't look good. And so I think that the problem is we are so short term in our thinking and our response. And I'll fault the Democratic Party here. You can sense the kind of fear in some of these Democratic politicians right now. It's like, well, if I oppose this Israeli military strike, or oppose the U.S. getting involved, you know, am I picking a fight with Netanyahu? Will I be called weak? Maybe this strike is going to look good, and then Trump's going to like say I'm weak. Stand for something. If we haven't learned anything from the last 25 years, we've learned that violence in the Middle East is unlikely to lead to better outcomes. And certainly the violent removal of governments by the United States or Israel, for that matter, is going to lead to a better government. Like, I don't know how many countries we have to try that out in before we learn that that is not what works. And so I think, you know, opponents need to simplify the message.